These messages can be all interpreted differently, but they are both used to send information. Think of proxemics as your personal space bubble. As you can see here, there's different levels to your space bubble. There's the intimate level, the personal, the functional, the social, the superficial, and the anonymous. So the size of this bubble varies from culture to culture. In individualistic societies that value privacy, they generally require a larger space bubble. For example, in Australia, Canada, England, Germany, Sweden, and the United States. These are all individualistic societies that value their personal space. So one of the most important factors of proxemics is the relationship between the two communicators. Haptics is a branch of nonverbal communication that refers to the ways in which people touch. Touching is the most effective means to communicate feelings and emotions. It is how we sense the world around us. Haptics are important because it is in combination with other senses, and it also helps our brains translate the message at hand. Now, my classmates Jules and David are going to continue.
Actually.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they're going to go over what does your body say about you? What does it say about others? How do you want to be perceived? And then when would you use this? And then here is David and Jules.
Next slide. Hi, I'm Jules. I'm going to go over nonverbal cues in interviews. So with states, nonverbal cues include body movements, body orientations, nuances of the voice, facial expressions, details of dress, and movements of objects that communicate. Always remember to nod your head when saying yes, define the relationship with your interviewee by shaking hands when entering and exiting the room, and give precise feedback to regulate and maintain the flow of speech. Next slide. Body language is a vital part of communications, as it reinforces what an individual is trying to say while offering info about their emotions and attitudes. These movements include posture, gesture, hand and head movements, and movements of the whole body. For interviews, good communication is the foundation of any successful relationship, but these nonverbals are what you should not do. Slouching, eye rolling, looking at anything else, wandering eyes, or sounding bored and unenthusiastic. Nonverbal communication is different from person to person, and especially from one culture to another. Cultural backgrounds defines their nonverbal communications as it is learned behavior. For example, in Germany it is considered to be rude to cough in concerts and in other public areas. In India, whistling tunes is highly offensive. In Ghana, if your legs are crossed, you are insulting. And in Asia, it is rude to maintain eye contact, but in the US, it shows confidence and interest. It is important to understand the various cultures for business interactions because miscommunication can occur when intercultural people can offend others without meaning to do so. Next slide. In the workplace, people interact with each other through the day using nonverbal communication. The way the individuals deliver messages can be just as important as verbal dialogue. Nonverbal communication accommodates your overall body language, including your appearance and posture as a form of communication with others. If you're expecting a response by the receiver of your message, like Miguel was talking about earlier, a nonverbal communications affects the response. Next slide. Paralanguage refers to those aspects of speech which are not directly related to words, which are annotation, rise and fall of the voice when speaking, pitch, tone, audibility level of your baritone, being able to hear what you're saying. An interview is necessary to be aware of the volume and speed of your message and pause between words. Now David will go step by step on the hands-on portion.
Hey guys, David here. So the first thing that you're going to want to focus on when entering your interview will be your walk. Is to walk responsibly. Now to do this, you'll want to bring your shoulders back and lift your head up and walk straight towards your interviewer. Now when you're walking towards your interviewer, you want to make eye contact, but also be looking away. Not just staring straight at the interviewer, but looking away so that the tension doesn't build up as you're getting to their desk. So the reason why this is important is because interviewers quite often are making decisions within the first 10 seconds of meeting you on whether or not they would like to hire. Next slide, please. So next, we'll be shaking hands properly. So in order to do this, you'll just want to be standing straight right in front of whoever you're shaking hands with. Give them a nice smile to let them know you're happy to be there. Reach out and make eye contact with open palm. Try and shake with firmness that you think will be equal to your interviewer's firmness. Shaking too hard will seem aggressive and maybe hostile, while shaking too light will make you seem unprofessional and not know how to even just shake hands. This is really important. Next slide, please. All right, so the next thing, as you're getting seated, best thing to do is to sit all the way back in your chair. This is going to be really important because while it may not give you super high points for doing it correctly, it will count heavily against you if you are caught slouching or leaning or just in a bad posture. Sitting up will give you, sitting to the back of your seat will prop your body up and make you seem much more confident. Next thing, when you are sitting down with your butt to the back of the seat, you want to place your feet flat on the floor. Now the effects of putting your feet flat on the floor actually happen at a subconscious level. They happen between the limbic brain system and the neocortex system. The limbic brain system is responsible for the emotional side, while the neocortex is responsible for the language and motor skills. So together, having your feet flat on the floor will help those two systems work together more effectively while you're trying to conduct your interview. Next slide, please. Okay. Next will be to show your palms. Now, this doesn't mean just bring your palms out and just say, here, like, here's nothing. You're going to want to, you'll quite often see politicians when they step up to the podium, they will greet everybody with open palms. This will tend to make you seem much more open and honest in what you are saying. The reason behind this is generally when you're meeting somebody new, you will shake their hand. And so when you're greeting them, you generally see an open palm. And this lets you know that you're being greeted and welcomed. Whereas in the interview, if your palms are hidden, kind of a subconscious guard will go up in the interviewer's mind. Whereas just showing your palms will make you seem much more trustworthy. Next will be to focus on direct face contact. So all parts of the face, not just the eyes. Since you're going to be sitting in front of them for your interviewer for like 40 minutes or 20 minutes or 1 minute, however long it is, don't just stare at them straight in the eyes. That will make it awkward. It'll build up a lot of tension. Rather than doing this, you can look from their eyes to their ears, all the way around their face, just slowly, just really careful not to lock eyes for too long, most importantly. Next slide, please. So the last important technique I'm going to be telling you guys about today is just simply nodding your head. Nodding your head will show that you are listening, and if you are in agreement with whatever the interviewer is talking about. Now, nodding your head also plays a big role in a sales technique used all around the world. It's secret. It's called the Sullivan nod. And the way that this nod is used is you're going to ask a question that you will want a specific response to in order to divert the conversation or control the conversation. And when you ask the question, you ask it with a nod. So if you're trying to get a yes from a person, like you're trying to get them to say yes to a question, you slowly nod as you're saying it, so that subconsciously the person will see the nod and want to nod back, and will then change their response. So that's all I have for you, and here's Miguel.
Good evening. Now I will have with you, this is the in summary. This is what we talked about, basis of kinesis, 5 characteristics of nonverbals, kinesics, proxemics, and haptics, nonverbal cues in an interview, and hands-on kinesis. Next. This is our sources, in case that you wanna find better, do a better research. So this is our sources. Next. So, as a conclusion, so the verbal communication has its own advantage and limitation. Kinesis is a complement of nonverbal communication. They use nonverbal communication is part of our daily basis for positive and negative. Also, now we have a better understanding of kinesis, or at least we are aware of the positive and negative impact of it. We can exercise a better judgment of our nonverbal cues. So now we're gonna go and play a little game. So please take your
Have Cody, you want to go and set up the game for us, please?
Okay.
take your cell phones out and follow the instructions. This is the pin. Please enter this pin on your cell phone. Which you have how many? 1, 2, 3.